Hi, I am Neha, a technology leader with a people first mindset. But today I'm going to speak to you about something very personal to me. It's Mother's Day week. And all of this week I've been thinking about how mothers show up in different forms and shapes. There is this one mother who gave birth to me and was a huge part of my upbringing. But there were all these other mothers around me while I was growing up. A few aunts, my older sister was like my mother to me many times. But most of all, my grandmother. She played a huge, huge part in my upbringing, and my personality has been largely influenced because of her. We lost her in 2017, and I have not been able to fully grieve her absence, but I can say that I have such beautiful memories of her and such amazing teachings from her that my heart is always full because I had her love in my life, and I got to, be one of her most favorite people in the world. So I'd just really love to introduce you to my grandmother and talk a little bit about her and her presence in my life and the way it influenced me. So my grandmother belonged to a very wealthy family from rural parts of Maharashtra. Her father was like this huge landlord, and they were a very big family living in a mansion. She was one of 16 siblings, and I will say the family was also extremely intelligent. Everybody in the family was intelligent. The men in the family, like my grandmother's brothers, became lawyers and teachers and took on noble professions, and then moved out of the rural parts and came to cities like Aurangabad and Nasik and settled there. I will say that my grandmother was the first girl in their family to have completed high school education. And that was a big deal. She went to an English medium school, and although her English was not very polished, for her it was a big deal, big achievement, coming from where she came to have done that. She was extremely intelligent. I remember she taught me math more fluently than my parents ever did. And she was very analytical and clear with her thinking, and just really good grasping. She was an avid reader, and what I'd like to point out is she married my grandfather, who came from really humble beginnings. So coming from this big, large, wealthy family and marrying a person with humble beginnings was a big change for her. But I was told by many people, not just by her, but by many people around her, that she very gracefully took on the change and the challenge, and really became the reason why my grandfather's family, not just like he himself and her kids, but also the brothers and sisters that were there, everybody grew from the personality point of view and a thinking point of view because of my grandmother's presence and support and intelligence. And everybody always looked up to her and really admired her. So she was my really, really, really close friend. I remember sharing with her everything since my teenage years to well into adulthood, even after I was married. I would share with her a lot of details of my life and seek advice from her. And the reason I chose to share with her over sharing things with my mom or even my sister at times was because, my mom and my sister would have very strong reactions to anything that I told them. They would form opinions based on my stories, and, they would stick for a longer time with them. But my grandmother was so balanced that she would hear me out. She would give me a safe space to talk my heart out listen with patience, and yet not form any strong opinions or provide big reactions. And then, in her small, modest way, she had these teachings for me. Like, she once told me, "Neha, you should never sit in a place where someone will come and ask you to get up." And it's a simple thing, right? As a kid, like there are a few visitors, few people, you have limited amount of seating in your living room, and a child goes and sits there in a very relaxing way and takes up space while some adults are standing around. And that's what she was really telling me, that look around, see if somebody else needs that seat a little bit more than you, and just be cognizant of that. But through telling that, she taught me to be aware of my surroundings, to be observant about what's going on before I took any action or decision. Through that simple thing, she taught me to think ahead, to not be impulsive in doing small things in life. Just through that, I think I learned this. I developed this habit of thinking through things before taking action, which has served me so greatly throughout my life. I will also say that, like I said, my grandfather came from very modest beginnings, and he was working for the postal services in India, so their salaries were not large. But even so, my grandmother made sure that the house was always full of delicacies. Anybody come to visit our house, and they would see there were constantly laddus and snacks and whatnot made, homemade, prepared, and there was never a scarcity of anything, even though means were limited. And I don't know how she managed it, but she just did. And that was really great too, because I've seen the other sides of people where when there are not enough means, people become overly cautious of spending and even lean towards becoming stingy. There's also this, when there is not enough means, people overspend and go beyond their means and create other problems for themselves. But my grandmother just knew to do it, in the just right manner. Her house was always open to all visitors. I just had this very full childhood, and she was always available to play with me. We went for long walks, morning walks. She is the one who actually got me into reading. My mom or dad never read. I didn't see them reading much as a kid. But my grandmother always had a book. And not only did she read, she told me stories from the books she read. She read aloud to me sometimes. And she played a lot of card games. She was very playful, constantly engaged, never sitting idle. Oh my God, she was so many things, and I miss her so much. But I have to say that she was a huge part of my growing up. The way she just laughed, she laughed so wholeheartedly that her ribs and her stomach and everything would pain. She would be in pain. She would laugh so much. And that was just an example of how she lived wholeheartedly. And I just really am grateful and thankful for being co-parented and raised by such a beautiful grandmother. And I had access to her so much more than any of the other grandkids. I got to live with her the most. I got to be her most favorite at all times. And I don't know, my heart is just really, really full. Anyway, so that's me and my grandmother for you. And I just wanted to say that you don't have to be a mom to be a mom. My grandmother was like a mom to me. My sister has been like a mom to me. I have an aunt, my dad's sister, who has been mother-like to me. And I know that I have been mom-like to a few people in my life as well, apart from just Sana. It be Mia or my nephew Arjun. I've also felt motherly feelings for my other nephew Arush. And although we didn't get as much time to spend together because when he was very young, we moved away to and stayed in the US. But even so, I do feel those happy motherly feelings for him. And then there have been some people in my neighborhood, little kids that I have felt like I've been an older sister to, bordering on caring enough to feel motherly and mentoring them. I know some teachers have been motherly to me as well. And I just wanted to say that you don't have to be a mom to be a mom. And this is Mother's Day week, and there are so many challenges that mothers of all kind face in their everyday life, that I just wanted to give a shout out to anybody and everybody who is a girl mom, a boy mom, a pet mom, a plant mom, a nephew or a niece mom, any kind of mom, a grandmother, and just say that the world is such a better place because of all these nurturing people in the world, motherly figures in the world. And that's all. So that was a very personal share from me about my life growing up and my life with my grandmother. I hope you have a lot of such motherly figures in your life, and you are motherly to many others in your life as well. Let's stay connected. Don't forget to subscribe my YouTube channel, follow me on LinkedIn, Instagram, and have a great Mother's Day. Thank you.